Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Okay, we're surrounded by books. We have a few options. Today's option is a book review. So we are continuing Vlogmas with that. So I have some Christmas romances. I've been recommending Christmas romances, and this might be my third or fourth year continuing to do so, and we have some new Christmas reads, so I'm excited. Two of them are by the same author, and all of them are a part of a series. With most of the ones in the series, they're interconnected standalone, so you don't necessarily have to read the previous book in the series to enjoy this one, but you get a better experience because previous characters will get mentioned and so forth. So I mean, do with that what you will. Let's get in our Christmas spirit. Also, Pete my little Grinch sweatshirt. So actually the first one I'm going to do is Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal by Meghan Quinn. So I recommended the first book in the series last year, which is How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. And like last year, this book came out with 3 different covers, one with a green background, which I have, and the green sprayed edges. There is a blue one and then also a pink one, and the edges correlate with the cover color of the book. And Barnes & Nobles had one color, Walmart had another color, and then there was like a regular color for elsewhere. And they did the same thing with the first book, but they switched up the stores that had the colors. So the first book in the series I have is with the pink cover, and now the second book has a green cover. And I'm not sure if we're gonna get any more in this series, but book 1 is focusing on a couple, but the guy main character is Cole, and the guy main character in this one is Max, and they're best friends. So it's like they got their stories. Before I dive too deep into the conversation, I'm gonna read the back. Nothing says I love you like trespassing, public humiliation, and a town-wide Christmas spectacle to win your crush back. Atlas Max Maxenheimer did not sign up for this. One minute, he's anxiously trying to keep his family's Christmas tree farm from imploding. The next, he's passed out on the snow after getting clocked by a suspiciously strong bottle of soda. Enter Betty, new in town, full of holiday cheer, and helping her uncle open a rival tree farm next door. Max is convinced she's out to destroy everything Evergreen Farm stands for. Betty thinks Max might be one sleigh short of a winter parade. Cue the holiday chaos. Between Blizzard's blown reputations, wildly misguided romantic plots, and one stolen ornament with a seriously tragic backstory, this small town war turns into something far messier and much more delicious than either of them expected. Okay, so if you couldn't pick up, it's giving enemies to lovers, a little rivalry, and then look how cute our main couple. And there is also art throughout the book. I think you just saw a page, but I didn't want to stop too much and spoil anything. But Meghan Quinn, she does that in all of her books. Throughout the book, you'll find art that correlates with the story. All right, now let's get into this one. It's giving enemies to lovers. It's giving rivalry. And that's actually what happened in the first book as well. It was enemies to lover, it was rivalry, and it worked out so good. So Max is, it seems like low-key the black sheep of his family. Ultimately, his dad surprises his mom with like this European trip to go for Christmas, just to do all these holiday markets, something she's always wanted to do. Max was the only one in the family that did not know because the father felt he couldn't keep a secret. But also they feel like Max is just dramatic, he embellishes stuff, so they don't really trust him in a certain capacity. And with his parents going away, they technically tell Max, like, this is the time to prove yourself in the family business. You know, prove us wrong, prove us that you can take part, because he has 2 other brothers. They're well off, parents trust them, so forth, but Max is the one that, not so much. So Max is now in this headspace of trying to do what's right for his family, and in walks Betty. Betty is not a townie. Her family is here and she's just visiting. She's trying to help her family, but she has a run-in with Max very early on. And I honestly think from that initial meeting, Max liked her, but obviously he didn't know the extent of what was going to happen between the two. And she's kind of brushing it off because in her mind, you know, she's here to help her family. That's kind of her sole focus. And once Max kind of gets introduced to Betty in a formal capacity, it seems okay. But then he's trying to look after his family's Christmas tree farm while Betty is helping her uncle literally right next door to do their own Christmas tree farm. How are we having the two together? So then our rivalry is officially born. And of course, in Enemies to Lovers is always going to make a great story. Sprinkle in some Christmas cheer. Hello, it makes sense. And I know what you're thinking. It's a pretty thick book for a Christmas romance read, but it all makes sense. It's all worth it. The same thing can be said for the first book in the series. It's another thick book. This one's actually smaller than the first book, but it is a funny, quirky Christmas romance read. They have some heated moments. In the end, they start to realize they're a little bit more similar than they initially gave each other credit for. And, you know, there are other things that they have in common family-wise, which I think was a good point to touch on, because at the end of the day, they were both trying to help their families. So this was a really cute one. It was, believe it or not, a quick read. I enjoyed the story, so I kind of find myself flying through it, and I enjoyed the author, Meghan Quinn, so yeah. Now we're moving on to The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. This one is part of a series that, this is actually book 3 in the series, and I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which is book 2. I thought it was book 1 when I bought it, but they all focus on a different spot in Dream Harbor. That's where all the books take place, and some of them take place over different seasons, so you can read them during that time. I personally think you can still enjoy the book without having read the previous ones. I still have not read book 1 in the series, but I've read 2 and 3 and I have enjoyed them. They're cutesy little holiday reads. I mean, what's not to like? It's also a quick one, and I will say this is also kind of giving, maybe not enemies to lovers, but a dislike to lovers. A small town spicy festive romance. Kira North hates Christmas, which is unfortunate since she just bought a Christmas tree farm in a town that's too cute for its own good. Bennett Ellis is on vacation in Dream Harbor, trying to take a break from both his life and his constant desire to always fix things. But somehow fate finds Ben trapped by a blanket of snow at Kira's farm. And despite her grinchiest first impressions, with the glow of the fairy lights twinkling in the trees and the promise of a warming hot chocolate, maybe, just maybe, these two lost souls will have a Christmas they'll remember forever. And it is the truth. Like, when they first meet, Kira is not in the mood. She doesn't really give off the friendliest vibe. She accuses him of trespassing, but again, because he's not from Dream Harbor, he did not know such, but he had his dog, so she kind of went a little easy on him because she likes animals. But the whole thing is, Kira has this new tree farm. She is not from Dream Harbor, so that kind of plays a part into her character. So she doesn't really have the best relationship with the people in the town. And she's trying to revamp this tree farm with a website, social media, and so forth. And it's just not giving. Bennett is visiting. He has family in Dream Harbor. And they essentially told him that Kira seems to be very standoffish, like she doesn't really come to the events. There is a past about the tree farm that you'll read about. They informed Bennett about that, and he's like, So the townsfolk essentially tell Bennett, like, because you seem to be neutral territory, like, we need you to go up to where Kira is on the tree farm, kind of talk to her. We need some trees and so forth, like ease the tension. So then it starts with Bennett making trips to go see Kira. He's of course always bringing the dogs. That seems to be a good focal point. But at the start, Kira's not for it. Like, she hates Christmas, which hurts me because I love Christmas. So I think that's why I was kind of like waiting for Kira's heart to grow like the Grinch, because this hate Christmas vibe is not for me. She does have character development. And I honestly think it comes from spending time with Bennett, because out of all her time being in Dream Harbor, it seems like Bennett is the first person that kind of is connecting with her, trying to understand her. And then she, of course, did not know that Bennett was kind of convinced by the town folks to keep like visiting her, trying to ease the tension and so forth. So they start to build a bond, and slowly Kira starts to participate in the town's events. People start to try to build connections with her. The tree farm, there is progress there. So it's definitely a journey of Kira trying to find her footing in Dream Harbor. She has some other personal issues that she's working on, and she works on it throughout the book, y'all. It's a whole thing. And Bennett is also kind of in a little process of trying to figure out some things with himself. So in ways they do help each other, but it is a lot going on with the both of them. It is a pretty quick read. It's literally a cute little spicy Christmas romance. It gave what it needed to. I mean, look how cute the cover is. I enjoyed it. And yeah, it was more so disliked to lovers, only because I think that first initial meeting of the two didn't go as well. And then as they bonded with one another, that smoothed it out. They realized they had a lot of things in common. And of course, it grew to something more. Okay. On the topic of tree farms, we have Lovelight Farms by B.K. Borison. This is another book in a series. I actually can't remember which number. This might be like 2 or 3 in a series. I have another book. Oh, well, maybe this is book 1. I don't know. But here are a list of some of the books. This is another one. It's an interconnected standalone. I personally still think you can have a good experience if you don't read them in order. Previous couples get mentioned from other books and things like that. But again, your main couple is who you should focus on. So it's fine at the end of the day. Two best friends fake date to reach their holiday happily ever after in this first romantic comedy in the Lovelight series. So yes, this is book 1, but I think I have book 3 as well. A pasture of dead trees, a hostile takeover of the Santa born by a family of raccoons, and shipments that have mysteriously gone missing, Lovelight Farms is not the magical winter wonderland of Stella Bloom's dreams. In an effort to save the Christmas tree farm she's loved since she was a kid, Stella enters a contest with Instagram famous influencer Evelyn St. James. With the added publicity and the cash prize, Stella might just be able to save the farm from its financial woes. There's just one problem. To make the farm seem like a romantic destination for the holidays, she lied on her application and said she owns Lovelight Farms with her boyfriend. Only there is no boyfriend. Enter best friend Luca Peters. He's just stopped by for some hot chocolate and somehow got a farm and a serious girlfriend in the process. But fake dating his best friend might be the best Christmas present he's ever received. Now, I love a good fake dating. Fake dating is always going to be there for me because it always leads to real feelings and we love it. And of course, these two, Stella and Luca, are best friends. So they've known each other for a while. You know, we're building the relationship on feelings that we've already had. Just they have not matured to a romantic level. So anyway, Stella is trying to save the Christmas tree farm. It has special meaning to her. She wants to do a good thing. She enters this contest. And once she actually finds out she's a contender to win the contest, she freaks out a little bit because she does not have a boyfriend. She lied. She thought that would better appeal. So now she is on the hunt for a boyfriend. She's in the small town. She's hitting up some people she knows, trying to see if someone can just pretend to be her fake boyfriend for the time being, because the person, Evelyn, is going to come and see Lovelight Farms. So Stella needs the boyfriend there when Evelyn visits. She kind of brings the conversation up to Luca, but she's mentioning other guys that she has asked to be the fake boyfriend. And on one hand, he's like, I'm kind of hurt you didn't ask me. And on the other hand, he's like, should I be relieved you weren't thinking of me? At the end of the day, Luca is her best friend. He agrees. I feel like it was a little tense at first. They were trying to navigate how affectionate to be in public, like what would happen after, because they live in a small town. People know their friends. So then all of a sudden they start dating. And then if Evelyn, St. James leaves after the fact, like how do they go about this in their small town? So there were some concerns. Stella definitely didn't agree right away because she was trying to figure things out. She also just didn't want to mess things up with her best friend, but she's trying to save the farm. They worked things out after talking. Luca, I feel like he was pretty chill about the situation. He was kind of just like, we'll just end it calmly. Like, no one's gonna say anything. We'll still act like best friends or so forth. We just won't be in a romantic relationship, although we never actually were in a romantic relationship. So people in the town start to notice that Stella and Luca are getting kind of cozy, and they're trying to figure out if this is real. What is this? Because of course Stella isn't blabbing to the whole town that she's fake dating Luca because of the competition. No, and she doesn't want things to get back to Evelyn St. James that this was all a hoax and she doesn't actually run the farm with her boyfriend. She's single. So the circle of trust is very small with this secret. So Evelyn finally arrives, and it's kind of like the show is now on. Whenever they have interactions with Evelyn, they have to be on. But at the same time, they also have to be on when they're out and about in the town, because if they're acting one way in front of Evelyn and one way in front of the town, it's going to raise suspicions. So it's kind of like the cameras were rolling the whole time Evelyn St. James was there. But while all of this is happening, Stella and Luca start to realize that, actually this is pretty nice. I actually don't mind, kind of doing these things with you. And of course there are other activities. It's a holiday romance in a small town. There are Christmas activities. So they're doing this, they're, showing Evelyn around the town. Things are starting to feel real. It's not starting to feel like fake dating, but both of them are kind of questioning if the other person feels the same. No one's broaching the topic so far of how they felt at the start of this fake dating and how they feel now. I don't say it gets a little messy, but it's not smooth sailing. But, it was a very cute little read. Everything was good in the end. And actually, Evelyn, I think, is one of the main characters in the next book. And this series is also, they don't all take place during the Christmas. I think they take place during different seasons as well. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Cute little Christmas tree farm, fake dating, friends to lovers, romance. Friends to lovers is also a good trope. Now, my last book I'm recommending is another book by B.K. Borison, but it's called Good Spirits. She's so cute. And this is actually book 1 in a new series. Book 2 is coming out next year, and I'm very excited. I personally love Good Spirits. It was so good. I mean, I really enjoyed all of them, but I think this one had a different twist to the usual Christmas romances. Fall in love with the ghost of Christmas past in this magical romance from New York Times bestselling author of Lovelight Farms and first-time caller. He's the ghost of Christmas past. She's not exactly Scrooge. Ghost of Christmas past, Nolan Callahan intends to spend this holiday haunting like every other. Get in, get out, return to his otherwise aimless existence as a ghost, awaiting the afterlife. But when he's faced with Harriet York, the sweetest assignment he's ever had, he suddenly finds himself wishing for a future. Harriet York has no idea why she's being haunted. She's a good person, or at least she tries to be. A people pleaser to her core, she always does what's expected of her. But as she and Nolan begin to examine her past, they discover there are threads that bind them together. And they realize there might be more to moving on than expected. With the deadline of Christmas Eve fast approaching, will they find the key to their futures in each other's past? Or will they stay firmly in the present, indulging in their unexpected spirited connection? So Harriet gets visited by Nolan. At first, she thinks this just might be a very, very, very weird dream. She does not believe he's a ghost, let alone a ghost of Christmas past, because in her mind, she's like, she has had to have done something seriously bad with the Christmas spirit to be visited by the ghost of Christmas past. That's just how things are. And Nolan doesn't really know why he sent to her. He just knows she is an assignment. He has to, visit her. They have to work through some things. So Harriet's kind of like, I don't really believe you. This is giving kind of suspect. So a couple days go by and they end up traveling to one of Harriet's past memories. The ghost of Christmas past, there are multiple in this book. They have magical powers. So they travel to the past, and then Harriet sees someone and sees some things that she remembers, and then she looks at Nolan and is like, I believe you now, because again, how else is she supposed to be here? So now they're on this journey together. Harriet still doesn't know the full extent of why Nolan is here, like what she has done to be visited by him. Nolan doesn't know either, but as the book goes on, they continue to visit some of Harriet's past memories. She starts to remember things that she kind of forgot. A lot of things in the past shed light to kind of who Harriet is now. And I think they also helped her grow. And then a little twist comes in where they think they are going to Harriet's past memory. They end up in Nolan's past memory. Harriet's like, I don't remember this. And Nolan's like, that's because it's not your memory, it's mine. But this has never happened to Nolan before with any of the other people he has visited. So he's kind of like, what's going on? This is weird. Harriet doesn't know like what's happening with her, how this is possible. So there's like a place where all the ghosts of Christmas past go and things of that nature. So Nolan's trying to get some help because obviously this little weird thing has happened. He already felt a weird connection with Harriet from the jump when he first met her. He's like, definitely you're different than the other people, but I'm not exactly sure how. So he can't leave her until the assignment is complete. So they are still stuck together. Not that they would oppose. So they're every now and then visiting some of Nolan's past memories. They're still visiting Harriet's past memories. And with the kind of magical powers they have, when Nolan visits Harriet, other people can still see him, but obviously it's like he came out of the blue, like who is this person? And they start to build a connection. Harriet starts to confide in him. I mean, he is seeing her memories. It's kind of hard not to. And Nolan does the same with her because with him being a ghost, there are certain things like he does not remember from his previous life. So now all of a sudden he's with Harriet and he's getting to see past memories. So they have that connection. They're still trying to figure out what's going on. It was such a cute Christmas read. There are, at least for Harriet, some family things that she works out, and of course with the help of Nolan, and we have some self-discovery. There was also a little twist at the end of the book that I really appreciated, and I think it helped tie everything together. It like made it. It was so good. I promise you it is a happy ending. I know what you're thinking. Ghost and human, how is it possible? It is possible. And I think that's what I really liked about this book. You know, this was a nice little twist. A ghost of Christmas past coming to haunt you. Yes, never read that before in a book. So I love that. It was so cute. This was definitely another one that was a pretty quick read. From the moment I read the story, I was hooked. And again, it's the start of a series. And this is like the Spirit series or something, so I'm pretty sure we'll have another ghost in the next one. Yes. So those were all of my Christmas recommendations this year. Of course, I have still read some other books, but these are the ones I want to recommend this time around. And then I have some other Christmas reads that I want to read, because guess what? Christmas isn't over yet. I still have time to enjoy the holiday reads. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Give some of these reads a chance. If you have some holiday reads that you read, please drop them in the comments below. I'm always looking for a cute little Christmas romance, because why not? It's like a Hallmark movie in book form. So I will see y'all in the next video. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button down below. Peace and blessings, my loves.